Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, this background I haven't used in a while, huh? Come to think of it, I was watching some of the previous videos, and I'm talking about the videos even before the Forex journey that we're recording right now, and some of the other incredible videos that we've got going on, as well as what's coming in the pipeline. But man, those videos that I did, what was it, 2 years ago? And it just got me thinking, I think it's time we have another one of these, what I like to call fireside chats. I hope each and every one of you is doing absolutely amazing. And what I want to go ahead and I want to talk about today is the process of Kaizen. Now, Kaizen is a principle where we have to take what we are doing, we have to translate the workings in life, the day to day stuff, the journey that we're on, the destiny that we're being called upon. And we have to go ahead and do this one day at a time, one step at a time, one brick at a time. Now, with that being said, I ask everybody the question on in terms of their passion projects, in terms of their endeavors, I don't know if it's entrepreneurialism, if we want to go ahead and call it, but whatever it is that you feel called to do within your soul, I have to ask this question first. What have we done on this journey so far? And it's not to go ahead and criticize nor judge. I am not that particular person, but I will go ahead and tell you what we have done so far since this particular video. We've gone through 19 days of this incredible journey together, starting on September 6th. We have gone and recorded two awesome mastermind interviews with, and I mentioned them before on the show, and I'll go ahead and mention them again. The legacy musician Von T. If you haven't checked out his track for you, you must go ahead and do that. And of course, my dear friend Gabby Hurlbut from the Boston Ballin podcast. And you haven't checked out that podcast, well, what's wrong with you? You got to go ahead and check that out too. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to sit around gloat about what we have done so far, pat myself on the back. That's not the point. But I want to go ahead and illustrate the perspective of where September 6th was and where we are right now in at least my journey. And you have to go ahead and ask yourself the same thing. Where are you on your incredible journey? Are you at the beginning? Are you in the middle? Are you heading towards the end? Where are we specifically? And is there more room, more growth, more of a road to cover than you or myself can truly realize? We all want to move forward in the right direction in life. We don't want to go ahead and we don't like to look at the past. We certainly don't mind looking at the present. But what we want to understand is the actions we do in the present are very much connected to what happens in the future. And I know that was sort of like a Captain Obvious moment right there, right? But it is so very true that what we do now can only help to build what is to come for our vision in the future. And if we think about it, you have seen my journey for those who have started on day one with me up until now. And even for those that haven't, you're going to see the journey that I have undertaken so far. It's got its highs, it's got its plateaus, it's got its weird low points, and then we come back up and we keep on going. And it is exactly like that in that particular cycle. And that is absolutely perfect. Now, for those that don't know, my solution statement, this is going to be very important for you, even if you're not a coach, even if you're not a podcaster, even if you're not a Forex trader, you want to understand what your solution statement is. And first, to give you a little bit about exactly the importance of that, let me go ahead and tell you mine. I help people who desire financial success achieve it through investing without the complexity. I fully believe in this statement because it is my purpose in life to impact those that don't have the ability to do it on their own, or at least need a guiding hand, a shepherd, if you will, not to get too out there, but someone who guides them in the right way, someone who takes them through a journey, the exact emotions, the exact trepidations, the exact highs and the exact lows of what you're going to feel out there in the financial forex market, and bring it to you in a entertaining way of sorts with some other cool podcast stuff along the way, which includes some of my awesome interviews. But then again, that's my solution statement. That's what my purpose in life is. Do you know what yours is? And it doesn't, listen, that you don't have to that answer right away. Maybe even have a partial, a tiny pin of the answer. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going to go with it. A tiny print of the answer, a tiny paw print of the answer, a tiny partial of it, fractal. Let's go with that, fractal. A tiny fractal of it. And that's absolutely perfect too. You don't need to know it all right now, especially if you're just learning about what it is that you want to do, or even if you are still trying to dabble in exactly what it is to do. Again, it is never too late to do something that you love. I want everyone to think of it like this. Even though this is a podcast I've done, and even though that I am 27 years old, this is my third podcast attempt. So I have failed. Well, not necessarily failed, I should say, but I have progressed from one podcast to the next podcast, and now to this beautiful podcast that we have right here. And it's incredibly okay, the journey that I've been through with all the ups, the downs, the failures, the setbacks. Again, I've stated this before, but failure nor setback is never the end of something. It is just the representation of a new beginning with the knowledge that you haven't had in the past. Now you have that in the present to really define what you want to do, and again, help you carve out that vision that you have for the future. And again, we take this particular journey here, and you see it within all of my videos, that we do this day by day, step by step, piece by piece, brick by brick, and in my case, trade by trade. And that's something that you are going to also understand too. Whether it is that you are a musician, you have to play the instruments note by note. You have to get the songs down song by song. As a cook, you have to go ahead and find your ingredients, ingredient by ingredient. You have to write out your recipes line by line. And again, I can go into a myriad of other ventures, other professions that are out there, but I don't want to make this a day long episode, right? So what we really have to go ahead and understand is that this is a process. Kaizen is defined as a process, a never-ending process that is not supposed to get done like that. It's not supposed to be like that. But instead, you go through the journey. Starting out now is not what it will be like in the future. Just imagine what we have done so far in this particular 19 days so far. Again, it's not I would call the journey that my highest version that has about 20 or at least 2-3 times more capability than I do. All I can do is do what I can do now in order to progress to that particular person. So in future episodes, future content, this isn't going to be the same. It's going to be different. There's going to be change because there's been growth. There has been experience. There has been transformation. Now, I know a lot of that sounds a little uncomfortable. And trust me, this has been uncomfortable so far, being able to show my results, seeing the failures, seeing the wins, and going and understanding there I could do a lot better. That there must be a lot better moving forward. And that's the beautiful part of Kaizen again. Is that we know we have to start somewhere in order to go ahead and be greater in the future. We can only get better, improving on what we already have within ourselves. Understanding that, yeah, the first time you do something that you love, you're going to suck at it. that's just the bottom line. The first time of anything that you do, you're going to suck at it. I know that from experience. Find Keeping It 100, my first podcast that I did with some really great buddies of mine. Find me on episode 1. You will be able to understand how awful I was on that. And I say that smiling because, hey, without doing episode 1, it doesn't progress into episode 2, into episode 3, and then the second podcast and what we got going on right now. If I don't take that first step, none of that crap happens. Or none of that stuff happens, I should say. Pardon my French. And the beautiful thing is that there isn't a perfect time to do any of this. You don't get the perfect knowledge. You don't get the perfect information. You don't get the perfect experience. You don't get any of that. Instead, what has to happen is you have to define this moment as the perfect time to start something. You have to define this moment as, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to learn along the way, grow along the way, and it's going to get even better. And that's something that you, my friend, have to understand in order to go after the things in this life that you truly desire. And whether or not the first episode that you do, or the first song that you do, or the first recipe that you cook, or the first time you put your all into something, it doesn't matter if it's great, good, or terrible. You have to take that first step so you can realize, oh, I can learn from that. I can grow from it, and I can get even better. See, we have to understand, or at least in my mindset, I have what I have now in here to teach everybody something. It doesn't mean that I'm for everybody, but it means I can teach someone something important to move forward in investing. I could teach someone, hey, this is what we have to look out for, or this is how you want to do this. This is how you want to do that. And I've got that basic foundation, but I know that there's a lot more to learn even beyond that. And thankfully, I have got mentors along the way, which I have stated numerous times, but I will go ahead and repeat them one more time. Salvatore Leto, Dr. Luis Ariaza, Maurice Katz, Ryan Doctorcheck, a lot of fantastic people in my circle that are helping me grow every day as a particular trader. And with that knowledge comes the ability to teach even further, to deep dive into certain concepts that I have talked about, but I know in the future it will be a calling to me that I need to go deeper into these topics. Even if I don't have those particular answers right now, they will come to me in the future, which is how come I had to start on September 6th, because I had to just go at it and do it right now so that I can have a foundation, a layer for what I need to build upon. You know, it's like a great house. It's like a great castle that you build. It's like a great empire that you build. You don't just start with the whole empire of the house and that's it. What you need is a solid foundation to be put in place before we can start to work on the building, before we can start to work on the castle. You need the proper foundation in place mentally and emotionally to be able to lead, direct, take charge, and become the world-changing emperor that I am. Again, affirmations. And for you, that's the same thing. You have to you have to get the foundation before you can build upon what you already have. And so that foundation is going to come from the first time you do something. Whether it's great or not, it's your foundation that you can start on and you can keep going from there. Kaizen doesn't dictate that we need to be perfect. In fact, Kaizen eliminates the principle of perfectionism in such a beautiful way that you have no choice but to start, even if you don't have everything 100% perfect all the way. Because again, it is one day at a time, one step at a time, and one process at a time that allows then the culmination, the accumulation of what you have done, the compounding effect, to really go ahead and be put into play. See, Albert Einstein, I know he mentioned this more so for the financial gains, or at least that's the interpretation in the Forex world. They say that the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't understand pays for it. And again, I know a lot of that principle is based off of the monetary realm, the financial realm. But if we truly think about it, cumulative experience, compounding foundation, compounding love into a project, into a passion that you truly love, it doesn't that work the same way? Doesn't it allow you to earn in the same way? And if anybody is able to understand that, then you understand the principle of why you have to start right now, why you have to go ahead and take that journey of Kaizen. Each and every one of you has your own magic that's out there. Again, singer, cook, podcaster, YouTuber, Forex trader, coach, lifestyle coach. It does not matter. I can list off about 1,000 different things. And again, we'd be here all day. But you do have that inside you. And it is ready at this particular moment to be unleashed into the world. It is ready right at this moment. You're ready to go ahead and get that done right as you are watching this particular video. It doesn't have to be perfect. Break through that desire perfectionism. Break through that inner critic telling you, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you still got a lot to learn. Oh, you shouldn't do this right now. You know what? Allow me to pardon my French, but fuck that inner critic. All right? Fuck that inner critic. Fuck perfectionism. You've got what it takes right now to do what it is that you love right now. We have incredible momentum once we get these things going. When day one of September 6th of this year was the first video, day one of my Forex journey. When that video was released, that was the momentum that allowed me to then do what it is what I'm doing, feel what I'm feeling right now, think what I'm thinking, and understand the capabilities that I have and still need to develop in order to make what I love grow and expand. And once we all start doing that, we'll understand that we'll be able to get the same things too. We'll be able to think different thoughts, new thoughts, growth thoughts. We'll be able to feel new feelings, improve new feelings, think or feel growth feelings. We're going to be able to think new ways of thinking. Why I said that, I think. I'm going on a tangent, but we are going to, at the end of the day, to make a long story short, we are going to be able to put together, or we're going to be able to grow together as a community that wants to change the world, a network, a global network that wants to change the world. And I know that you want the same thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be right here watching this particular second of this video. I know you desire the same things that I'm talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made it to this part of the video. Not to be arrogant, but it's the truth. So all I want you to know is that this is your time. This is your place. This is where you take everything from the past, all those perfectionism, those critics, those things that were holding you back. And this is what we're going to do. Pretend that this is the string, this finger right here. Now here's the scissors. You cut it. You cut it off. Cut the string off right now. That's it. Go. Do it. Do it right now. And let's move forward. Because I desire for you to do this. I desire to see you grow. And I desire to see more empires being created. I desire to see more passions being unleashed into the world. And I desire to see a lot more world changers than I truly believe that are out there in this world, because I know, in fact, I envision that you are one of them. So let's get this going. Remember, Kaizen. Do this one day at a time. Do this one step at a time. Do this one piece at a time. And everybody, as always, be great, be favored, and be the person you are destined to be.